I'm Joe Bradley from Southern Hospitality, and you're listening to me on Chanel in the City.
What's up, everybody? How are you? My name is Chanel Omari. I'm your host, and welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City on iHeartRadio. And by the way, I have such pleasure today. We have such an awesome guest on the podcast. You guys wanted him to as much as I did. He is the star of one of the hit Bravo TV shows right now, skyrocketing with ratings on Bravo TV, Southern Hospitality, and he's the VIP host at one of the hottest clubs. You know, we love to visit it, Republic in Charleston, South Carolina. Please help us welcome our dear friend, Joe Bradley, the hottest, the talented Joe Bradley. Welcome. With
Wow, what an intro. That's the best intro I've ever gotten. I need
Thank
you to
you.
come to Republic and gas me up at the club. That was incredible.
I would
She's
love
good
to.
to
By the way,
fail.
with all due respect to your girl Maddie Reese, who we love, I would love to. I know she's a DJ. I've DJed a couple on iHeartRadio. By the way, we love your show at iHeart. We're obsessing over it.
Really?
We are so into it. It's such a great show.
I've been a fan of iHeartRadio since I was a toddler in my mom's Suburban. So that is
Oh
like,
God, that means I'm
it's,
much older than you.
well, people are like, oh, Joe, is it crazy to be on Bravo? Like, I never watched Bravo growing up, but I fucking listened to iHeartRadio. That's amazing. So
Right?
thank you.
Yeah. That's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say to you, like third season you're in, you're at the high, congratulations, you have one of the highest rated TV shows on Bravo specifically. How does that feel? And did you think you'd get to this place?
I kind of like I just found out yesterday about the ratings. I'm not like a numbers guy, but I think whatever you do for work and if you put a lot of effort into something in life to see, positive feedback or to see success and growth in your hard work is an amazing feeling. So to see like the numbers, I don't really know what they mean, but for people to talk about you when you're kind of like, Bravo, I like you to look at it as like a huge pond, like an ocean, really. And we were always kind of like that guppy, that fucking minnow. And so it felt really good to just kind of be recognized. And I know we're still the rookies. So I'm not, I think there's better shows out there than cringing at myself on TV. But it feels good to be recognized and like our name up there with the big dogs. So it's a great feeling.
100%. Yeah, it's a great feeling. And listen, I've been a fan of the show. I did reality TV with Bravo a long time ago. And to
Wow.
trust that reality, like to be a veteran and to really have longevity in reality TV, I don't think people understand how hard it is. And to put your lives out there while you're working, right? So like talk to us about like this season, I guess, how different it was from other seasons and like what you like how you felt how the season went.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to what you're saying, like, imagine if someone like three giant guys with cameras come out to you in your cubicle while you're on a sales call. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. Obviously, it's different that I'm in a nightclub. I'm a very social guy, but adding that extra layer with the cameras is definitely like a challenge. I think people are like, Joe, do you get used to it after a few seasons? I'm like, no, I don't care if you're on season 10. You never fully get used to putting the horse blinders on. It's a weird feeling, but you get better at it. You don't get used to it, you get better at it. This past season, I felt like obviously I'm in an amazing relationship. Um, I feel like I kind of hit my stride. I had a really hard time last year balancing it all with the partying and being around. I think the way I like to say it, I know I'm rambling, but the way I like to say it is like you could argue like two of the hardest industries for you know channeling in and being healthy and like your mental health and it might be hospitality and reality TV. So you put those two big, hard industries together, and it can be a challenge. But I think if you surround yourself with the right people and you have the right mindset and you balance it well, like luckily, you look at our cast, you look at Bradley, TJ, Emmy, Michaels, they take care of themselves. Take care of their bodies. It's not just like one like, limitless bender, even though it seems like that when we're filming, we do a good job of like protecting ourselves. I think I finally kind of that rubbed off on me this season for the first time. And yeah, it's a tough thing, but I wouldn't change anything about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I love about you guys as a crew is because I've worked in hospitality, right? Or people who've worked in hospitality know how hard it is. You're serving, it's a serving industry, it's a selfless industry. It's a lot of like put others first. Plus, you have to work with people that you care about. And one thing I admired about you, like I could tell how real you are, like on the show and off the show, like all around, is that like you care about your friends and no matter what you want to communicate, which is rare to see from a guy's so like with all due respect from like a straight guy's point of view like who wants to communicate and be like listen, this is how I feel, this is how you hurt me, let's talk about it, let's get through it. You guys always somehow get through it and put work first. Like, so what happens through, like, how do you cope with that? Like, what goes through that process?
Yeah, so you can look at all the negative for you. You worked in reality TV.
Yeah.
What I will say is like you can look at all the negative parts about it, or you can focus on how it's going to help you grow. So it wasn't always the case for me that I would look at my friend or a coworker and address a problem at hand. I think the show actually helped me do that and get better at that. Like instead of like, walking on eggshells and, just waiting for tension or a problem to go away. I think the thing with me and TJ was like we never addressed it. And then, I kind of brought it up. I was like, like listen, like let's talk about this. If we're ever going to be as close as we were, I think like problems can bottle up and like until you address that, you're not going to get any closure. Maddie talks, I've learned a lot from Maddie, her being almost 11 years sober. She's talked to me that's a big part of the 12 steps is making amends and talking about it to put it behind you. So I think you got to look at this industry as a way to grow and kind of you got you have to be a magnet with all the positive things it can do to make you grow as a person. But it's been a big learning process for me to accept that your problems are going to go away. You got to address them. You got to attack them head on. And yeah, I feel like I've finally gotten to that point where I'm getting better at that.
Yeah,
So
I have
thank
to
you for
tell you, I love that, Maddie. First of all, that's just shows that's a healthy relationship when somebody can bring out the best in you. I love you and Maddie together. I've been rooting for you guys to be together since season one. It's
Oh,
almost like
thank
you
you.
see, like, because you had such a strong friendship, which I think that is how a healthy relationship develops, from a strong friendship. But the fact that she is sober and she's able to emotionally like encourage you to be a better person and you vice versa with her is important. Like for example, like because I don't know how you make it work. You tell us, the audience, how do you keep a good relationship amongst that? Like it could be a negative environment sometimes, a toxic environment, however you want to call it, like the hospitality industry, it's you can't control it. So how do you keep like how do you protect your relationship with her? Because I was through I'm in comedy and I went through this with my ex
Yeah.
and he worked at a comedy club and the whole
Wow.
club went against me, and I'm
Oh,
like, wait a
man.
minute. I know how to deal with confrontation both on camera and off, and it was
Yeah,
still
crowd work. You can
crowd
call
work.
them. Oh, yeah.
I love it. You
But
would be
I'm a huge comedy fan, so I've been to most of the
oh, you would
comedy.
probably be such a good like stand-up because like you're so real and like you can
Yeah.
make humor out of, you know what I mean? But I was like, how am I getting in the fire of like it's hard to just mix like breakups and exes and then friend groups, how do you because
I
that's a
think
lot
the
on Southern
Yeah.
hospitality, right?
And you can resonate. I think the best stand-up comics, the best comedy is being vulnerable and having self-deprecating humor. And I feel like, you can act like on TV like you're someone you're not, but that's only going to hurt you in the long run. You got to lean into who you are. And if that's, making fun of yourself sometimes and that's how you cope, that's a better, healthier way than lying to people. So I think that the way me and Maddie, like for those of the listeners that aren't aware, me and Maddie have known each other for 5 years, and I've been kind of head over heels for her for 3 of those 5 years. But in that meantime, when she was dating some other doucher, we don't speak his name, I wasn't weird about it. I stood by her side, and I was always kind of like her support, her friend, and I wasn't like I didn't, I think we had that mutual feeling with there was something, and she knew that I had feelings for her. But I kind of just, if I'd rather have her in my life as a best friend than to, be that petty guy and be like, if I can't have you, then I don't want to look at you. So even though sometimes hurt, I stuck with her because, that is my best friend. And looking back on it, instead of like pouting about like, oh my God, we should have been together sooner. Hell no. Timing was in our favor finally. And Maddie now knows after being friends with me for years when I didn't think we'd ever be together, she knows all my flaws. We're starting on third base with that. Like a lot of relationships will get hot and heavy, and then weeks or months later, you'll figure out like, wow, these flaws this person has doesn't really correlate. It's not congruent with the person I want to be with. Maddie already knows I'm an idiot. She already knows that I've, my stupid like traits and habits like she knows who I am, and I think looking back on it, even though it was a tough few couple years where we weren't together, I think it ultimately, um, I think that's kind of like why we work so well together. She knows me.
When do you think like you both were like, okay, I know I want to be with you? Like it would be so beyond the friendship, like it was just romantic, and you're like, okay, like how do you know, right? Because we have so many things that are situationships these days. Because God knows
Yeah.
I don't know how to date at all, and we'll get into that. I need your tips. Maybe you guys have someone to set me up with. But the point is like, yeah, when did you know, like, and especially on camera, right? Because that's hard when you're really developing feelings for someone in the public eye, and everybody is now in your story, in your reality.
Yeah, so maybe don't come to Charleston if you're looking for the dating scene. But no, Charleston's amazing. Come visit. It's a blast. But I think like in the problem about like being in the public eye, that's our lives now. So that's what we work so hard for. That is a now I guess with the ratings especially, that is a definite. Like that is our lives now. So we have to accept that and adapt. It's still new to us. I've never been in a serious relationship in the public eye. So it's still new to us. We're still learning every day. And like I tell Maddie, we'll just take it day by day and be each other's biggest support systems, each other's biggest fans. And, either of us having a hard day like any relationship, we'll attack it together. And that's TV and that's life. It's not that different.
It's not that different, right? It's reality. And that's why I think we all love your show, because we know that you're actually going through the real ups and downs that we all go through too, but we don't have the words sometimes to talk about it out loud. So thank you for also sharing. I mean, do you guys have rules now at work where it's like, okay, we're gonna have each other's back because we're together, but there's also separate conversations of like professionally, right?
Yeah.
She's also
I-
a DJ. You have to, you're supporting her, which I love that about you, that you're supporting her, and you know, there's a lot of like male toxicity out there sometimes where like men
Totally.
can't. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the viewers will see we get in a little argument at work. But what they have to understand is that we have a lot of passion for our jobs. So
Hmm.
like if we're in the back, we get in an argument. We were doing that 2 years ago too, before we were together. So 30 minutes later, we're like, all right, I'm so sorry, love you. That's hospitality for you. You worked in it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're leaders in the company. It's not cool to get like, show yourself or get out of line in front of other people. And, like I always tell new hosts or people at work, like the first impression's everything. If someone walks in the first time seeing us and we're arguing, that you can't do that. That's not who we are. So I regret, arguing with Maddie at the club and, you watch yourself on TV and you learn.
Right.
But no, like it's Republic, it really is like our happy place. So like we have our houses. Me and Maddie have two different apartments. That's home, but we also have a third home, and that's Republic. We feel comfortable there. The employees there that aren't on the show, those are our people. That's our support system. That's family. So when we are working together, we feel comfortable because Maddie's been there for 7 years. I'm coming up on 4.5. So we've been there a
Wow.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What keeps you guys? So talk to us about like the longevity at Republic. What keeps you there? What do you love about it? Um, and
I
what
think
makes
there's
you so
yeah.
passionate? You guys are super passionate. It makes me literally want to work harder. I'm not kidding. When I watch your show, I'm like, I have to work like 3 jobs. Like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah. So you work plenty hard. You're killing it. So
Thank you, Joe.
yeah, you make me your iHeartRadio, baby.
But you
But
guys are great. Like, yeah. So
yeah,
what do you love about it?
yeah. So obviously we motivate each other. You got to find your why. I think like showing up to work a lot of years. So, like Maddie was my why, and now we're together. I think my future and my future family is my why. And I think I failed out of college. I went to University of Michigan. All my friends are in finance, doctors, lawyers. It took me a long time. Like my line was like a squiggly line, and somehow I met Leva Bonaparte and somehow started working at Republic. And I before we even started filming the show, I'm like, I love this industry. I want to stay in it. This is my passion. I can finally like have a little skip in my step going to work. That's a hard thing to find,
Yeah.
especially me who hated school, hated the corporate world. So everyone has a different journey. I think I found mine in hospitality. And I feel like I found my match in Maddie, and I found the right mentors in Leva and Lamar. But I think what's cool about Maddie is like she's making a lot more money. She's doing a lot better. Like she kind of like found like her stride with her DJ career, and she does not need to come back and work at Republic. But if she gets a night off from one of her gigs, one of her shows, you will catch her in the VIP booth cleaning up fucking shit. Like she will be in the trenches with all of us. She's not there for the money. She's there because she loves it. She loves her friends and she works hard. So that's the kind of owner I want to be. If and when I ever own my own bar, my own lounge, my own club, I want to be, busting tables, wiping down the bar, pouring drinks. That's the kind of guy I want to be, and that's the kind of girl Maddie is. And I think that's when you know that you love what you do. So,
I love that. I love that. That is that I want the audience to pay attention to that very specifically because they're always asking us like, how can you become successful on reality TV or in general? And I think that's the best answer. It's like working
yeah,
hard, loving what you do, not thinking you're above the job, no matter
yeah,
what, and being a team. Like the fact also that you even said like she makes more money, like I support her. So talk to us about how like I just love because you're a leader for other men. And this is going to now be our new generation where you have to be standing by your woman. Like me and a lot of women on this podcast, we've suffered and struggled through like not being in relationships with the people we love because they couldn't support us in our career, right?
yeah.
What do you think? Like, what are some tips that people can learn from your relationship and like how to keep it healthy, how to keep it supportive, how to not let it get in your way, you know?
I think so. Number one,
Hmm.
I think, jealousy is the nastiest thing in a relationship. I
Hmm.
think you gotta find your person where you have to be rooting for them. You have to be their number one fan. If jealousy gets in the way of that, you need to figure your shit out and fix yourself before you can be a good partner. So I think jealousy gets in between a lot of relationships, especially with toxic masculinity. And like, I grew up in a household where my mom was, the breadwinner at first, and my dad partnered with her for her company. And they're a great team now. But my mom was that bad bitch that figured it out. And, that's my badass mom. People say you like, you marry your mother, but that's a
Yeah.
weird thing to say. But, you know, there's
You're
a
like,
reason
that's
my
another
mom.
hour of therapy. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yes, yes, yeah, exactly. But there's a reason my mom, she hadn't even met Maddie. She saw a photo of her and she goes, I don't even know this girl. That's the fucking one. So that is a number one thing is like instead of like being jealous or petty, you have to be their biggest supporter. You have to be their biggest fan. I think another part is like communication. You see me and Maddie getting like a few little spats this season. Guess what? Newsflash. Everyone listening to this has gotten in arguments with their significant other. So you have to lean into that instead of making it a toxic thing where you're fighting and you're walking on eggshells. You got to learn from those arguments and appreciate those arguments to grow in a relationship. And by the way, I don't know what the hell I'm saying right now. I'm
No, you're on. No, this is such good advice. You don't understand. This is like so valuable because you're right. You
yeah.
gotta face it head on, like you face the conflicts on the show head on, you know, and then move
Yeah. And
forward.
I'm
That's
just
a
telling
healthy
you
relationship. That's how
I'm
you.
just, yeah. And I'm just telling you, Chanel, I'm just telling you what I've learned in the past year. So I'm still learning. You know, our relationship is, I mean, we're in a great place right now, but it's just like, damn, you can watch these reality shows and learn what not to do, but to learn what to do, you got to do to learn what to do, you got to be in your own relationship, I think. So a lot of it's just common sense, but I think you got to learn from yourself and your partner. I think don't compare yourself. The last thing I would say is like don't compare yourself to other people and don't listen to what they have to say because no one knows your love for someone than you and that person in your relationship with. So it's got to be between you two. If someone's like a licensed marriage counselor or a therapist, yeah, it's great to talk to people. But don't be at the bar and people like, you should do this or go in the comment section, you should listen to this. No, that's you and her or their relationship, and that's between you guys. So don't let people get in your head unless they're licensed to do so.
I'm so happy you brought that up because a lot of the audience asks us questions like, "What would you do as Joe Bradley, right? Or what would Maddie do? What would Chanel like? Would you try a matchmaking service if you're not having luck meeting people? Like you met Maddie, you guys were fortunate, you guys worked together, you had a friendship. Like, would you
Yeah.
try something else of like out of like to go out of your comfort zone, I guess?
I mean, totally. I mean, everyone in situation is different. My older brother, he's a cooler, better looking version of me. He lives in Chicago. He just moved from LA to Chicago.
Is he
He,
single? No.
yeah. Oh, he's single. I'm plugging in Michael Bradley right now. It's Mike Bradley, Mike Bradley on Instagram. But
I think
he's,
you're the matchmaker. Yeah, go on, sorry.
yeah, I know. I'm a connector.
Okay.
But no, I think that like for him, he's had very successful. He's not married, so not that successful. But some of the most successful relationships I've ever seen met on a dating app or from a matchmaker. So whatever works for you. I am very fortunate. I met my girlfriend 5 years ago at the front door of Republic. That's not, you know, always going to be the case. Like you're not going to have like some rom-com moment where you meet someone at Whole Foods. Put
I
yourself
wish.
out. Yeah.
I
And
wish.
I think it's like for a lot of people, like there's some special cases. Like my little sister's been with her boyfriend for 8 years from high school. But you got to look at like if you're one of those people that need to figure out who they want, it's okay to like speed date or go on a lot of dates. Like there's nothing wrong with figuring out who your person is. But if you just pick the first person that's convenient for you that you feel safe with, it might not end as well as you want. So don't be afraid to take risks. And, I'm not saying you gotta like, go to the streets, but like, you can talk to a lot of people and figure out who you work well with. And I think a lot like as you get older, you see a lot of singles that
Hmm.
kind of go through a dry spell and they got to get their mojo back. I
Yeah.
think the best thing to do is just put yourself out there and just take that leap of faith and trust yourself. So,
Thank you for saying that because honestly, not to make it about me, but I'm saying for the audience, but I always speak for the audience, like you gave me the encouragement also now to like try the matchmaking service I was thinking
oh,
about. I'm working with 3 Day Rule. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put myself out there.
yeah.
When I look at yours and Maddie's relationship too, I'm like, okay, there's a silver lining. Like I could potentially have a guy that's a friend and become, and fall in love with him. That's the beauty of like looking at the show and having that positive
Yeah.
reinforcement.
And Chanel, I'll tell you, even if you are like going on the matchmakers and going on speed dates, those things might give you the confidence in life to where you're gonna meet your guy or your person in public, like in person. So like doing those things, like you'll learn more about yourself, and that might lead you to meeting that person organically too. But if you just kind of sit there on your phone and like think about doing it, it might not happen as quick as you think. So you got to put yourself out there.
I agree. I love that. Also, talking about like, you and Maddie being together this season and then telling your friend group, how do you feel that has gone over? Like, are there more things that we have to look forward to that maybe there was conflict or got in the way? You know, when you said
Yeah,
like, hey, like we're dating, like we're official, like, all that stuff that you want to clear up.
I was I was like a little disappointed with how some people like in Vegas, how some people reacted to me showing my love for Maddie, because I'm the kind of person if they had their person and they were up their ass or like being super supportive, I would be like, kudos, that's amazing. So it is what it is. They're like, I hope all of them are still invited to the wedding and they support my relationship. But I'm the kind of guy that's like, I support love and whatever, however you show that love, as long as it's not in a negative way, like good for you. I support that. But no, I think that a lot of people are kind of shocked about me and Maddie, which was kind of like, what the hell, man? Like you didn't have faith in me? Come on. But
Right.
it goes back to my point I said earlier, like only you and that person know if there's a connection there. So you can't listen to the haters, even if they're coming from your friends. If you're a friend and you tell someone they're in a toxic relationship, great friend move. But until that person's in a relationship with someone, don't give your advice to them. Let them do that journey on themselves for themselves, you know?
Speaking about the marriage thing, do you want to clear up any rumors? Are you allowed to share that? Do you have marriage in your future? I mean, I'm like, what is so taboo? I mean, if you love someone, right? You plan a marriage, you
Yeah,
know.
listen, like, yeah. I mean, me and Maddie are goofy, spontaneous,
Yeah.
crazy people, and
I could see
that's
you both going to Vegas and getting married or City Hall. I swear, like you're my type of people. I could tell. Like you're like down to earth. You're like, we got married already. What's
yeah.
up? And then
Jokes
all
on
of a
you,
sudden she's
motherfucker.
DJing your wedding. She's like, you're invited to our secret party, yo.
Yeah, I'm her hype man at our own wedding. But
I love it.
no, but Austin Kroll from Southern Charm just DM me and he goes, "Man, you effed up big time." I'm like, "What? Like, what did I do?" He sent me like this post and was like, "For $800, you can get married in Taco Bell with Elvis there." So we were in the Whitechapel. I could have gotten Elvis and Taco Bell. That's my wedding venue. So I messed up there. That's a new thing, I guess, going on in Vegas. But yeah, that wedding with that, I don't even know what shotgun wedding means. Does that mean when you get someone pregnant? I feel like the 2025 shotgun wedding should be like impromptu. Like that's like spontaneous. So that's how people say shotgun wedding now. But yeah, that was mostly to like make people laugh after like a really dramatic weekend with all the rumors, all the negativity. We're in our 20s, we're in Vegas. Let's party, let's laugh. And then as Maddie was walking down the aisle, it became a little bit more romantic to me. And because I kind of envisioned, not to be cheesy, but I envisioned our future together. I'm like, I'm Italian and Catholic. I'm not going to marry Maddie in Vegas. Our families would kill us. But I thought that, the commitment ceremony type thing, like first priority, the first priority like of making people laugh in the group and like boosting people's spirits became the second priority all of a sudden when I started walking down the aisle of that tiny little chapel.
So you're more of a traditional man. You would like a more, if you were going to get married in the future, it would be more traditional marriage or wedding. I'm the same way. I'm old
Yeah,
school, you
I,
know.
I I'm just scared I'm just scared of our parents, really. I think
I love how you're like it's
yeah.
like Joe Pesci's your
But,
father. You're like I'm kind of
yeah,
scared.
yeah. But also like, also like, Maddie's mom just texted me. I just like it's kind of, like I think the wedding is 80% for the girl and her family and then and like mostly and in that same category I'll put in my mom in there too.
Mhm.
And for my friends, like I would love to have like a traditional wedding with like a very small amount of people, maybe in like Italy or like a
Perfect.
destination
Yes.
wedding, and then have like
Yes.
gigantic banger blowout after party at Republic. So
That would be so cool. And by the way, smart move because it's you want your closest people anyway there. It's for you and Maddie. It's for you guys. It's not for anyone. People think
right.
it's for everybody else, but really it's for you, like to have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll have like a full-on music festival. We're gonna have the Fray in there. Like I don't know, we'll get get
Hopefully I
to
won't wedding crash. No, I'm kidding. I would be dying.
no,
Imagine me and Will
you're
Ferrell. We're
in.
like, we're streaking. You're like, who are you? I met you once on iHeartRadio.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. I'm gonna hire you actually. That's
Right.
amazing.
What do you guys think about also to clarify? I know we have to wrap up soon, but like clarifying, we spoke about like rumors and like sometimes you want peace for your relationship and in general, like Will Culp and Emmy, right? The rumors this season were focused about cheating and stuff. Like, how do you, and one thing I did admire about you, every season, I think you've said some quote about it. I have to find the exact quote because it was so amazing. You're very like, I'm not going to judge people's relationship. Like, I'm not going to judge people's rumors. Like, why do you have to be that petty to even
Right.
rub it? You were having like a talk second season, I believe, on one of the limo buses or party buses you guys were going to. And I don't know, it was just like such an opening moment for me. Like I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, why does everyone have to interfere in other people's relationships? Or
Yeah.
even if somebody is cheating, or like, do you feel that's necessary to talk about in
I
general?
think there's a fine line with looking after your friends
Okay. Right.
and
Right.
having their back if you do hear rumors. Like if there was a rumor, never would happen. But if there's a rumor about me, about Maddie, the one weekend we're apart, like talking to some dude, I hoped someone would tell me. But that's just like, God forbid, that's in some alternate universe. But yeah, there's a fine line with being a good friend and telling someone, but there's also a fine of like the other side of being a hater and attacking the relationship. And being on Bravo, being on reality TV, it is for how happy me and Maddie are right now. It's hard to ignore the demise and the chaos of all these other relationships of like a lot of them, I looked up to them, Paige and Craig, I think that was like I kind of wish they just broke up and everyone just kind of like let it happen. But instead, it's got to be some big feud and some big war. That scares me. The Emmy and Will stuff is horrifying because I love them both and I don't love who they are right now. I'm gonna be real with you, but I hope that they can come back from this. I told Emmy before the reunion, she's really upset. I'm like, you can listen to everyone and let this define you, or you guys can become a stronger couple. So it's up to you, but easier said than done. So yeah, it's kind of terrifying in a way, but I just think we got to stick together and be who we are and not let other people get in the middle. And there's some shocking things that happen at the reunion with Maddie's past relationship. So it's there's a lot going on, but
Yeah.
like I said, I'm just learning day by day. I'm just taking it. I'm still learning of like
Day
what
by
to do.
day. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, how do you deal? A lot of people also have this challenge. How do you deal with the person you love in a current relationship with their exes? And, yeah, how do you deal with that? And do you think also Emmy and like, do you think that that relationship can come back from whether it's rumors,
Yeah.
whether it's real, right? It's not about the pettiness, real, not. It's about like, can you come back from it? But talk to us a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
so another thing I'll say about exes, and just to be
Mhm.
vulnerable and honest, I think whether you like to admit it or not, it's okay if you have insecurities. I think every person, especially in a new relationship, has a little bit of insecurities about an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. So whether you like to be the macho man that says, "Oh, I don't care about that guy," like no one wants to hear about your ex. And it whether it hurts a little bit or a lot, you still think about it. It's okay to admit that. Number two, like for if there's rumors, a lot of like Lake said, if there were rumors about my significant other, I would break up with them in a heartbeat. I think that is bullshit. I think that's immature. I think that if you love your person, then unless it's true, if you believe your person over what other people are thinking, you should stick by them. But there's a lot of rumors going around about Emmy and Will, so it's almost too many to ignore. But this town of Charleston, this world of reality TV, there's a lot of rumors, and some of them kind of spider web off each other. So it's a hard thing to deal with, but luckily, thank God, hopefully, I pray to God that we don't have to deal with that. But you gotta sometimes prepare for the worst.
Right. And hopefully there's hope for them to come back from it. But at least you're being mature and that's a really good place to be in. And like you're being a good friend. You're facing the truth for them, but you're also saying like you have to choose. Either you're gonna stay and you're gonna
Yeah,
stay together and be stronger, or you're gonna believe the rumors because this whole world will bring you down in your personal life no matter what in general. And so it's
yeah,
best to stick together.
yeah.
Anything you
Don't
want, yes. Sorry, go on.
don't read Reddit if you're new on reality TV. Just like stay away from Instagram's way nicer than Reddit. But
Right.
anything else I want to say? I just like I really appreciate you. It's an honor to be able to talk to you. And
Thank
you
you.
know, iHeartRadio. Like I just
iHeartRadio. I mean, you and
I
Maddie you should guys have a show. You guys need a show on dating. I swear to you, it will probably be the biggest hit on iHeart on every platform. People will come and listen to both of you because you both have been through and I know a lot of my shows about dating, but also about the season. For me, I like to get opinions on people who are professionals who can like teach us in our daily lives how to be successful at work, but also how to have a successful relationship because those are real challenges in real life. And like when we see you guys go through it, it's inspiring, like that you can keep it
yeah.
together, you know?
Thank you so much for saying that. I don't think me and Maddie are there yet to be able to like host Love Island, but I think that, we I think we're making major strides, and I hope that people can see that we're vulnerable. And if we were going to do a show together, I would have no problem having a show about her crushing as a DJ and me being her background dancer. So I think that's love. And if you hate that, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, that's real love. Can you give us a little bit of a glimpse? Because the season finale is already approaching like soon. What can we expect? And like, what do you think was the most challenging drama for yourself this season that you want to clear up? Because some people, right, they might not see that on the show yet because we still have more seasons to come, more stories for you to talk about your life. But like, what do you think?
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest with you,
Yeah.
the whole TJ like rumors that like the idea of that I could in some way ever, you know, have done something and or to be gay as like a guy, like I had a lot of like my straight friends hit me up from back home, like, what is this? I'm like, dude, not a big deal. If you know me, I'm comfortable with who I am. It's not a big deal. I think a few years ago that would have been hard for me, but the hardest thing for me this year was watching me and Maddie argue. And instead of like us arguing more about watching us argue, we came together and we kind of grew from that. And I learned from it instead of getting insecure and being like, you know what, like I'm not an obsessive boyfriend. I'm reading the comments. Like, no, it's okay. I think that if you argue with, like I said earlier, if you argue with your significant other, you can learn from it instead of letting it get in your head and making it worse. Um, and it hurt me a lot to see Will and Emmy in turmoil this season. It hurt me a lot to see TJ hurt. It hurt me a lot to see, Emmy cry. I look at her as a little sister. If I saw my actual sister crying that way, that would be painful for me, and it was painful. and also Grace Lilly. I think I have a soft spot for all the girls in the cast, and I want to be that support system just like I am for Maddie to help them be stronger. So,
Yeah, I love
um,
that. I really do. I gotta say, like, I admire you guys for being, because it's a competitive, isn't it competitive still at Republic? You guys want to all grow and you're kind of fighting for, but then you say, like, we're sticking together and we're not, you still have compassion for TJ, even though he's the one who, is saying there's rumors. Like, the fact that you can be a bigger person is something we can all learn here,
yeah,
that you have to
yeah.
sometimes be the bigger person, right?
And to be honest with you, I don't think I would have been the bigger person even a year ago. So I I I look at that and I instead of cringing or being insecure about it, I look at it as a win for me. Um, but also like, yeah, I don't want Republic to be a competitive place. It doesn't have to be The Apprentice. Like you don't have to be competing. It doesn't have to be traders where
Right.
you're
Not
like,
everything is
sitting at the round table right now. Yeah. I think Republic should be how it always has been. That's why we love it so much, is like we gas each other up. Like TJ's hot dog company.
Mhm.
People can hate on the wieners, but hey, guess what? If you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to make a name for yourself and putting in that work to have your own company, people hating on that are insecure. And I don't like to see a lot of them that have created their own company. So I think if you work hard at something and someone hates on that, F off.
Is
So
there
I
anything
think,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
sorry, finish off. Sorry, I keep.
I just think like it doesn't have to be a competitive place. I think we can all support each other and be real with each other and still, make a good TV show. And I think looking back on me hating on Emmy's promotion last year, that it was super not who I am. And I've apologized to her about that, but that's, definitely put my foot in my mouth looking back. I'm like, who am I? Who was I being last summer? I am not the guy. I should be the guy that's promoting everyone instead of, hating on people.
That's amazing. No, we could really learn from you guys. You guys are awesome. And before we wrap up, any place you can suggest for the Chanel in the City audience when you're in New York that you and Maddie like to go eat at, or like if we're in Charleston where we should visit besides obviously Republic, because you know that I got to come visit you guys when I'm out there. Now I have
Yeah.
more reason.
So tonight I'm going to the grand in Charleston. I'm going to the grand opening of Zachary Daiquiris, Zach Stacks. He started as Lamar, Leva's husband's assistant, and he grew into like his partner. They're opening like this really, my mom designed it. It's like this really colorful, chic, frozen cocktails and normal cocktails, food. Beautiful, perfect for bachelorette parties, perfect for girls trips. Guys, if you want to meet some girls, you should go there. The ratios can be 9 to 1. Um, it's an amazing place. I'm going to the grand opening of that tonight. By the way, is Austin and Craig's new spot with Uptown Hospitality. That
Mhm.
place is phenomenal. And all the normal spots we have in Republic Hospitality, Republic, Bourbon and Bubbles, Mesu, Lamar Sporting Club. You guys come down, you don't really have to leave our spots to have the best weekend ever.
So, Joe, sorry for the interruption before. You just wanted to clear up. We were talking also about like clearing up and being the bigger person with TJ and all your cast members and how you have more compassion for them and what we can look forward to the season finale, hopefully.
Yeah, I think the finale, I think, does a really good job of, you know, showing everything you'd want to see in a reality TV show. Like in one episode, it's got the romance, it's got the laughs, it's got new bombs. Like everyone loves to see like the bombs being dropped. So it's got a lot of new content in there, but it also addresses, the main storylines that have been going on all season, which is Will and Emmy and, you know, me and Maddie's thing and our friend group as a whole. So I think that the finale, like that last day of filming is definitely juicy. And then as you watch the finale, you're going to be like, what happens next? And thank God the reunion is literally 30 seconds after that on Bravo. So you get to see what happens 6 months later. So it's going to be good TV. I've only seen the finale but I was at the reunion and I just know that it's going to like answer a lot of questions that people have and answer a lot of mine. It tied a lot of loose ends up and it's going to be good.
Right, and I know you can't talk too much about it. Will the reunion clarify some of the stories also that we're seeing in like on the show, but off the show about like how like, which I love, by the way, how Maddie comes to your defense with like when people talk about your exes, which we, again, like you said, we're not going to rehash. We should put the
Yeah.
exes in a box in a way if we're moving
Yeah.
forward. Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think the finale or the reunion actually puts me and Maddie's both of our exes in a box. Hopefully
Hmm.
locked away for even Andy Cohen to never talk about again, which is a hard thing to say, but um yeah, I think that's exactly what like we are so excited to like, finally see it and put it behind us, but the finale and the reunion together did so much for us as a group, and I'm feeling really optimistic about us moving forward. And I think I have a lot of good things coming up in Charleston this year with my work, not just supporting Maddie. And I'm really excited for everyone to, not only visit Charleston, you know where to find us, but to also like, tune into our journey. And I'm very grateful for everyone that watches our show because we've come a long way, and I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe Bradley, for being on Chanel in the City. You're amazing. Please send my love to Maddie and the cast. We love them here at iHeartRadio. And tell everybody where they can follow you right now on socials. We're going to get this up tomorrow on Friday so you guys can check out the interview, support Joe and Maddie and the cast, because Southern Hospitality is probably one of the hottest shows on TV right now. And you can learn a lot of lessons from these beautiful people. Please plug your stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I am Joe C. My name's Christopher. Joe C. Bradley on Instagram. I'm still working on my TikTok. Maddie is yeah, I think she's just Madison Reese, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, she's my first, if I forward a meme or a picture, it pops up Madison Reese. It's Madison underscore Reese. There
Nice.
she,
And check out her
and
music too. She's a sick
yeah,
DJ. I love her
she's way
music.
better at social media than I am. She's a sick DJ. She's way more exciting, but I got some good content coming. So I'm
Right.
working on
So tune in
it.
to Joe Bradley every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Southern Hospitality. Really, Joe, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I keep being you. Really, you're really helping a lot of us out there.
I think the same of you, and I'm a
Thank
huge fan of
you.
you as well. Thank you, Chanel. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you
I
so
need to come
much.
watch you do stand up one day.
You have to, please. And I would love to even we'll talk about it. Future collaboration. You never know. You'll do some
We can
comedy.
heckle. First time we can heckle at each other. It's
We can
perfect.
heckle at each other, of course, 100%. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you.